Welcome, everybody. We've got another Club Baroness podcast here for you. We've got several fun guests tonight and several topics that we're going to be going over. I'll start with the guests, though. We've got Murder Mastodon.
Yo.
And Evolution.
Same as always.
These two having coordinated this tournament for you. Y'all owe them some thanks for the work they're putting in. We also have with us Xanxus.
What's up, everyone?
And then we also have my tag partner, Goatrix.
Howdy.
And so we'll be having a fun cast tonight. We're going to be going over, again, a couple different topics. Primarily, we're going to be reviewing the last round of Swiss, which is always, in my opinion, the most exciting. Talking about our favorite matches from the Swiss rounds. We're also going to talk about the beginning of the elimination rounds. So we're going to talk about how that format's going to work based on the point system we had break down. And then we're going to talk about a few other fun little topics, who's your dark horse, and if anybody has any questions, we'll address those based on the way the rules are working out at this point. But all in all, I think it's been a fun tournament so far. I think things are going really well. So let's go ahead and, Evolution, why don't you kick us off?
All right, so our first topic is going to be our Round 4 Swiss match discussion. In Round 4, we had some really solid teams play. We had six matches that went down. The first one we're going to discuss at the top of the list is Esper and Shadow versus Kanye and Ebony. That was a very interesting match. Would anyone like to... We're going to try and move this along, keep this within about 90 minutes. Would anyone like to start us off with this match?
I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So it was kind of an interesting match because both teams kind of knew that by their records they were going to be a sure shot to make the cut to top 8. I think the weird thing was the Palace match. I still don't know if it was a screw up or if it was just a missed coordination or like a really weird super meta choice on Shadow and Esper's part because they brought super conflicting enviros to that match.
Yeah, they were, definitely.
Yeah, the reduced entropy and the chaos was like, wait, what are you doing?
Well, one thing we said was we were worried about them not coordinating arsenals. We talked about that when we first talked about the team matchups, and I think it showed right there that maybe it was an accident, but I feel they just didn't talk about it.
I think it was planned. Personally, I think that they tried something new that nobody's... Orange has done stuff like this, but not to this level. I think they were trying to prep for whatever Xanxus or whatever Ebony and Kanye brought, and I'm not sure if they were trying to shut them out completely, whichever arsenal they were running the most of. But that's what it looked like to me. I think they tried to plan for if they were running their quantum decay arsenals, or if they were trying to fight them straight up, they were going to try and counter either one. But unfortunately, when you have arsenals that are that conflicting and it's a lot of moving parts, it's really susceptible to high pressure rushes. And Kanye and Ebony stayed on him the whole time, so kind of shut him down pretty quick.
Which then I guess we can go to the refinery, the last match, where they took a completely different approach to trying to counter the level of race when they brought the Fairy Ring Dance of Death combo.
We're trendsetters, Xanxus.
I still feel like they had a good idea there, but something about the builds there was just completely off, because we see Esper only do one thing that match. Need 2 aura and use Fairy Ring, while Shadow Shield runs Dance of Death. But
that was his only job.
But we don't.
I didn't see any
them,
Mephistos.
Yeah, we don't see either of them do it quickly though. Like, health shouldn't be something you should worry about as much. So Mephistos are a great choice because they're not super aggressive in those matches. But we see them set it up so late that they're already at 4 capsules left when they have it working, and then Esper multiple times gets quantum decayed below an amount of aura where he can use Fairy Ring, which is 2. Somehow he didn't get his aura above 2. Somehow they get erased all the way down, and they don't get set up for 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, I think their arsenals came out bad on the map. Plus, it didn't help that it was refinery, so it gave Kanye and Ebony a lot of breathing room to set up and deal with stuff, which kind of sucked for them.
If they had set that up faster, and Esper had reliably been at more than 2 aura, which please just run an orb or an amulet if your only job is to use Fairy Ring. And we didn't see that.
That's my thing. Like, they both
Hey,
had
hold on.
one job,
Let me
one simple
interject real
job.
quick. Hey, Dolan, can you check the live stream, please? Just Esper says it's not working.
Oh,
Anyway, keep
Should be
going,
now.
Robert.
should be now.
I mean, they had a complicated arsenal setup with simple builds for individual use. Esper had one job, get Fairy Ring. He's already running Faith with that. At that point, you got to think he's going to put Nature in it for the orb. 3 Fairy Rings, 3 Mephisto's packs, 1, maybe 2 orbs, and your job's done. You can fill the rest with Glacial Walls, Ice Swords, whatever you want to do. Simple.
Or
Shadow has a simple job. Get Dance of Death. 3 Dances of Death, 3 Swift Blows, 3 Mephisto's packed. Done. Over. At that point, though, he needs an orb. So I would say, go 3 school with that. I don't understand the complication of what took so long with the setup. They had to come in this knowing that it was 2-2, both on the hill. This was do or die moment. They're going to run Quantum Decay. You got to figure... You got to assume that that's what's going to happen, and if you're going to run an arsenal like that, you better be damn sure that it's going to come together before you get hit by your first Quantum Decay.
Yeah. I mean, I still feel like the short version is good strategy. Whatever the build was, it didn't seem to be well put together, and it didn't seem to come out very well either.
yeah, I know the other thing we thought is that there's the potential that they didn't necessarily want to show their entire hand since this wasn't an elimination match. Basically, not give Kanye and Ebony too much to do homework on going into the elimination rounds, which is what we're going to be going into. So maybe they were just holding off and just decided to make it look worse than it actually was.
Maybe.
Xanxus, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I mean, I think the only thing that was missing out of that deck, because I think it was me and Zex were watching it, and the only thing that I saw was that he didn't have an orb for something like that, especially on Refinery. They're known for using Quantum Decays. Like that's a #1 pick for me whenever I'm in Refinery against them. So.
And I wasn't sure if anyone else caught it. I debated letting it go, but I just want to throw some shade on Kanye. You did a really nice job overwriting your recall on Panorama and then not using the relearn when you made the mistake. For anyone who wants to review that video, it's pretty funny when you catch it.
Did not catch that.
Yeah, it's okay. Mistakes happen. I mean, that looks like not a fun arsenal to try to figure out and run. Yeah.
I think me and Zan both messaged each other at the same time. He just overwrote a recall and didn't relearn it.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, so our next matchup is one of our actual host and guest here, Bregan and Goatrix, versus Poor and Mario. Murder, you want to take this one?
Give me 1 second to try to remember what happened because I have bad memory.
Man,
Someone else take
commentated
off.
the match. You commentated the match. Come on.
It was like a week ago, man. Give me a break.
No, it's
It was
okay.
brutal.
Yeah, I remember it being a 3-0. I just don't remember the details of the match. Someone else take over for a minute.
From what I remember, it was I'm pretty sure you guys duked it out. It was a 3-0, but they definitely were fighting you guys. Like it wasn't a 3-0 stomp when I was watching it. It was like each match was back and forth.
Yeah, they were definitely fairly close. Palace was one of them. Palace was pretty grindy and brawly. I liked it.
I think the most grindy match did we play late on there? Yeah, we did. That one was gross. That was the grindiest I think of the matches.
Yeah,
At least
I'm
we
watching
didn't have
them all
to hear,
again. Yeah.
At least we didn't have to hear Bregan cuss out a door.
I'm just happy that his audio for that time when he was cursing that door out wasn't full blast for everyone else watching. I got to hear it full force, but yeah, you guys got spared.
best part of the whole tournament right there.
All right, I guess I need to reform if literally other 20-something-year-old dudes are saying that I am too foul-mouthed. I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't. No, man. I used to have to record. I record when I played with Silent in the previous tournaments. We got plenty of our cursing on stream, so no, it's all good. I do remember this.
I
Though.
have
We
yet
had
to
do a
drop
live-
the N-word, that's for sure.
Oh God, you had to bring that up.
Yeah.
Anyways, I do remember this. We did do a lag test before the match because we were having problems connect. It seemed like it was
Yeah.
better. This is on both sides. I'm not going to say either side was, it was clean for either side. There was definitely some lag. There was affecting hits and shots, and I could tell that things weren't adding up completely on either side. So we made the best of it, but I think both sides would say there were some rough matches, and that was even in the play matches we had after the series.
On a side note, I'd like to possibly consider new hosts doing the castings, considering we have cursing from Bregan and apparently cocaine usage that I heard over our casting, Xanxus. I don't know if
On what casting?
Bregan and Goatrix casted our match, and the first thing out of their mouth was explaining that they weren't going to be as cussing us out as much or making jokes about us. And then one of them, I forget who's like, well, we're out of coke this time.
That was Bregan. Bregan was big on
Yeah,
the
that was Bregan.
Yeah, Bregan was hard on the coke rips this time. I was like, wait, do you want to do like series? He's like, nah, fuck it, we're in a hotel room. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay, well,
I seriously-
I mean, the
let's
nice,
picture.
it was a
I just
nice
want to set
hotel
this
room.
up.
So
I just want to set this up, all right? So I drove like 2 days before, like 13 hours. I'd driven like another 6 hours that day. We get to a hotel. It's like 10 o'clock at night. We are recording, watching on my wife's work laptop, and my phone is recording the audio on the couch behind us. And he came just to come and hang out and like get some takeout with us while we spent the night in Boise. So it was just like really loose, and we were just kind of messing around. We hadn't even planned to cast those matches. He just mentioned he wanted to see your match, and I was like, well, shoot, let's just cast it while we're doing it anyway. If we're going to sit here on the couch and watch it, might as well cast it.
And then the next thing you know, we were in backcountry, and it was Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, except it was Fear and Loathing in Boise, Idaho.
Okay.
So, anyways, back to the match at hand. Yeah, it was a pretty uneventful 3-0. Basically, I know Choices was basically trying to get it done so he could go on a flight the next day to a wedding. So I don't know how invested he was in it or not at the time, but they were video games. You can go watch them. They're okay.
I have a quick question too, because it sounds like ours is kind of petering off here. Does anybody know if the reduced entropy and the chaos run together was intentional, or if it was a mistake?
I remember Esper mentioning that he had a game plan, but it was too long to type, and he wasn't going to bother doing that.
That's probably the best way.
Which means he's
play
full
it.
of shit. Got it.
Probably.
That's the
But
best way.
we can say Esper and Shadow are not a one-trick pony. I mean, their tricks suck, but at least it's not one trick.
Hey, Shadow still managed to bring a Psycho Burst or a dance every game, so I'll give him that.
Yeah, I mean, closing your eyes and running face first into the wall, you can call it a trick.
All right. So, Murder, you want to go ahead and head us off on the next matchup, and I'll close my mouth.
The next matchup. Let me scroll here.
Was there anything else for the second matchup, or are we done with that one?
I mean,
There wasn't. No, there
yeah, I
wasn't.
think
much.
you guys hit it on the head. It was a straight-up brawl, no jank from Kamikaze and Mario. They were all really close games, and I wish I heard
Yeah.
more cursing.
I think
pretty
the
much
only
it.
thing we could add to that is that they didn't run a lot of Faith, which is what we were expecting. They seemed to run a whole lot of Psycho for whatever reason, which was kind of unusual. We were expecting a lot more Faith arsenals.
Alright. Yeah, that was weird from them. Alright, the next round was Evolution and Xanxus versus Doom and OG Kuma. So this one was the good old reverse sweep. Palace was obviously the first round. I can't remember what the second round was. Was it City?
I think it was City.
Palace, City, Lane,
Sign.
Refinery,
Sign was the
and
last
Sign.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
Palace,
surprised.
City, Lane,
I was surprised
Refinery,
you guys
Sign.
chose to pick City because Doom is a big fan of City, so I figured you guys would have tried to go more towards his weaker levels, but you guys
And we
chose
saw
the City.
exactly why after.
Yeah,
We-
and you guys paid for that.
The Arsenal came out reverse on my end. We had a game plan, but I never got an attack, like a useful attack besides
City
Fire
looked-
Hannah.
City looked brutal for you guys. Like it looked like your Arsenal came out in the wrong
City
order.
didn't happen.
Yeah, in essence.
City never happened.
I do want to give you guys credit for not going to Highway because fuck that map. Thank
I
you.
feel I don't know. I feel Highway is one of Doom's weaker levels, but City I definitely would not have picked for sure.
Yeah, City was basically me trying to dodge all their attacks on me up at the top spawn, and him digging for a
While I was
fucking
trying to get
attack.
an attack.
But then then after that we went to lane, and you guys were able to completely do a 360 on lane.
Evolution
made a
carried
great
me that
call.
round.
Just take
Evolution
bravery.
put in a lot of work that round. One of the most impressive moves, he manual aimed a cluster bomb, which I thought was lag, but then later on he told me he manual aimed it, and was
Yeah,
able
he
to
called
take
it
out
mid-
Doom.
mid-
That was
mid-game.
pretty badass. But yet after that, I think that round put Doom a little bit on tilt, because especially on that last series, I saw Doom playing a little differently than what he usually plays, if that makes sense. So yeah, you guys were able to do a clean reverse sweep. Three
Yeah,
straight
I
wins
added
after
it.
that.
I added it up when we got to Refinery. I reviewed it back. I hit 5 Excaliburs and 3 Railguns. I did a total of 35, 58 damage that match
Yeah.
with all pickups. It was pretty
Bravery was
insane.
putting in the work that round.
I just gotta admit, like
Let's
it was so strange seeing Doom, who is such a big proponent of bravery and used to play versus bravery all day, every day, having an inability to handle unbuffed bravery at all. Like that.
Well,
That was a bit weird to me.
he had a
Like,
fortress.
Yeah, and he wasn't
He had a
catching
fortress.
Excaliburs. He was
Yeah.
dying to, like, there was no acquisitions. There were no heats.
Excalibur is a real bitch to dodge on that level, though,
Yeah.
because the way the level's set up, there's just not a lot of room to wide walk it.
I mean, it wasn't just lane, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that
He,
it was
he was
very
also
crazy
taking some
on
bad
the-
trades too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would hit me with a flame sword and take a railgun. So they were pretty bad trades.
I mean, part of what it felt like is like two top teams came in and just kind of threw some of the strategy to the wind and just like had a brawl in the mud pit, and it got messy. And Evolution just had the bigger sword, I guess. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
if
what
you're
was
gonna
OG
trade and you're just gonna slap each other, like I guess if you got the bigger slap.
Well,
Well,
it's worth noting we had a gentleman's agreement with them going into it that we wouldn't, neither team, well, basically us, we knew they wouldn't, but we would not use jank. We wanted to put on a show for people, so we knew that it was going to be really, really messy. And the day before the match, I messaged Ray here and told him that bravery was their weakness. I mean, that was my game plan going into it. I was bringing an Excalibur and I was going to shove it up Psycho Shell's ass. And it ended up working out. Palace, man, I thought we had Palace for sure. OG came in clutch with that photon wave.
Yeah, like that was my thing. It was like for most of the other matches, though, it seemed like OG just eventually just started like basically falling off, and the rest of the matches like just got less and less effective, and just wasn't able to bring as much firepower or much heat to the match.
OG didn't look as good as some previous rounds. Doom looked fantastic in like all the way up until there was like a point on lane, I think, where it was
Yeah.
just like a coin flip. Like he looked like at the very beginning of lane, he looked freaking phenomenal, and you're like, holy shit, he's amazing. And then it's like, what?
Yeah, and then by the
What
time you get to
happened?
the scene, it's like
'Cause
he's
they-
falling off the level, all kinds of shit that, like
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, you just normally don't see him do. I imagine how pissed he was when he fell off the level on scene. I could like hear it. Because I would have
From
been
a
pissed.
guy- yeah, and Doom doesn't talk much, so for you to be able to hear it, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
The most impressive moment for me, and it's not to either myself or Zan. It just him and I don't talk a lot when we're playing, like at all. And I don't know, we have pretty good timing together with the attacks. And he manually aimed a throttle fireball into the ground at the same time I was firing a blaster. I think Doom threw up a flash hole and then a guard. I want to
No,
say.
he did the flash show only, and I think you caught him with the blaster in the back.
Oh yeah. And that's what I love playing with Zan is we don't talk, we don't communicate hardly. In the beginning we do. If we ever had audio on, you'll know. But we talk like for the first 30 seconds of the match, and then once we get moving and attacking, we don't say a word until the end.
I'd say one of the other big problems they had that match is I saw like 4 or 5 different occasions where they would be standing there knowing one of you had a lightning sword, and they would just use a flash hole standing like 3 feet away from you, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing?
That and they had a chance to kill me on that pickup. I don't know why. I don't know. For one, I don't know why Doom went around to come up top with me. He should have stayed down low. I was waiting for them to separate. And then OG just left. He went back to his base. It gave me a free pickup. If I'd have thought about it the times I played with them afterwards, I would have asked that. But does anyone else recall that? The Zan going down and OG walking away back to base?
That was insane.
Yeah. Any thoughts on
Yeah, I
that?
remember that. There was a point when they backed off. I was like, what are they doing?
I've noticed in general in this tournament, I have been really unimpressed with People's Corpse defenses. Just in general, like it feels like that has really gone downhill. Like, and some of it's like really basic stuff too. It's like one person stays nearby the body to guard, and the other one chases. Like, that's the long and short of it, guys. And I'm seeing so many teams just like give up and leave, or like both of them go and chase after the person, and nobody's near the body, and they just get outmaneuvered. And I'm like, come on, this is elementary, people.
Yeah, that was the game changer because I think I had very little health. I had enough. I think I had 7 health. I had enough to take 2 hits, and I was done. The Rian was doing 5 damage, broke my laser shell. I remember that, and but I was right next to the body. I didn't understand why OG left.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Anyone else have anything to add, or can we move on?
Move on.
I think that's it.
So our next one is Daffy and Wardog versus Murder and SC. And this one, they had a scheduled time, but unfortunately Murder made the mistake of posting his time in Eastern when he meant to post it in Central. And Wardog had plans. So that time got canceled, and after about an hour of discussion, I guess the consensus was that they couldn't play until after 12 a.m., which is way past Murder's little bedtime. So Murder and SC decided they would just forfeit that match, knowing they would still make it into elimination round, and it would delay the process of us moving forward any longer than it needed to.
That's pretty much it. That's the whole story.
So that's it.
Nothing to add there.
There's some good strategy. There was some excellent technique. Both teams brought a very, confident collection of art to the map. I
Very
stand
aggressive.
by. Good job. Good job to Daffy and, Wardog or whoever it was.
Took that 3-0.
Yep.
Probably the best corpse defenses I've seen this tournament.
I have to agree with
They
that.
didn't have to defend any.
So our next matchup is Wipes and Ska Boss versus Zex and Sardonic. I haven't viewed this one. I know what the score was, but I didn't get a chance to view it.
Yeah, I just watched this one actually. This one was Zex and Sardonic played a very safe game. They ran, the Rian, Ice Sword, Lightning Sword. I think every round Sardonic had a Rian. So they were playing it really safe. I think they expected that Skabos and Wipes weren't going to play anything crazy. They had some turbulences and some orbs every now and then. But I felt like they just had it just in case.
Yeah. Wipes just plays crazy in general, though. If you watch the way he plays, he'll burn through his arsenal very quickly, and he just, I don't know.
Yeah. Even watching the match again, I was like, how he gets through his capsules so quickly, and I'd never understand how. But then I saw it, he can never break flash holes because he gets armorless once, and then he just is shooting 1 damage moves, and they get taken. He picks something else, and that's what happened on Palace, really fast.
You only need 3 moves to beat Wipes.
Yeah.
Flash Hole, Fortress, and DBT.
Maybe
yeah,
one
Bregan and I played him a lot in casuals, and DBT. Their matches where DBT or Shatter would take him out of the match 2 minutes in.
Yeah, I will say this though, Xanxus and Sardonic, they all played a good game. Of course, it was what was it, 3-1,
3-2.
3-2. Okay. Yeah,
3-2. It was it was actually
it was a pretty good series.
They were all real close.
They punched
it was
above
fun to
their weight
watch
on that one. They played up.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. I expected, in all honesty, I expected them to take one, but the fact they took two and they almost had more games in the bag, but little mistakes.
I was
Little
impressed
mistakes.
with Skaboss in that series. I felt like he was a big reason they managed to pull it out that far. Wipes he puts down some good pressure and things like that, and Xanxus and Sardonic aren't really a team to punish him for burning through his arsenal so fast, so we didn't see that punished as hard.
Well,
But I felt
you
like
saw
Skaboss did a lot of work there to get them to the 3-2, even though it was a loss.
Sardonic wanted the diabolical trick. It spawned on his opening ground like twice, and he didn't overwrite it. Which, for me, diabolical trick is an instant overwrite if it spawns in my opening, and I need aura. He held on to it for so long, so I feel like he was trying to punish him for it, but the game just didn't allow it.
Yeah, that happens a lot with DBT because
Yeah.
it's so expensive, and you feel weird trying to commit that much to it early. Yeah, I definitely think if Wipes had some different arsenal building in place there, they probably could have done a better job. But it did seem like most of the matches is just Wipes would just run out too early, and that was the big issue.
Yeah.
Xanxus, anything to add?
No, kind of similar. I think he's Wipes is good mechanically. The arsenal building just needs to be there. I notice a lot of times he doesn't really he loses a lot of reincarnations as well. I don't know if anybody notices, but he tends to fire his reincarnation whenever he's got like 4 aura. He tends to spam it, and I notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he tends to lose a lot of his attacks, so he ends up running just normal things, reincarnation, things like that. But you don't want to lose a reincarnation, especially if you've got. And I think he might run about 2 or 3 of them in the deck, but he still ends up losing them. And I think that's.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the things where you have to mark what defenses people have. I feel like he doesn't do that, or Wipes for that matter. Like I think that's something they both got to work on. They forget what's in people's hands, and it kind of showed. Like there was one moment where in the first match where they get returned to natured, and then it doesn't clear Xanxus' stats, and later on he tries to shoot him with a lack, even though he still had a yellow in his hand. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, we're at the 40-minute mark already. Let's move on to the next one.
We had to talk about your match for like 10 minutes.
I wasn't trying to.
Yourself off.
Whatever.
It's okay. We wasted lots of time. Anyways.
Mirage and Darcia versus Orange and Snow.
I didn't
Goatrix,
Did this
have
one
you
even
seen
get
this?
recorded? I didn't see it.
Oh, that's right. I don't actually believe this one was recorded.
Nobody sent me a recording, so I don't even know
They
what
don't. They
happened.
weren't able to record. I don't think.
Well, we do
No
know
one-
that it was a 3-0.
That's
That's what we
3
know.
on Mirage and Darcia's favor. I'll tell you what happened. Orange hung some weird environmentals, and Mirage and Darcia vicious balanced them.
That sounds
Game.
about right.
All right.
Excellent
Hex
strategy, good
and-
execution.
That and some
game.
vibration blaster.
And some vibration blaster.
Hex and Silent versus Mofo and Sentinel. Was this one
Was
recorded?
that recorded?
This one was recorded. This one was a really fun series to watch because it was both teams I wanted to see a lot more out of. And now that they were paired with more even opponents, Hex and Silent didn't have to go up against Doom. You got to see both teams shine a little more. I was really surprised. Bregan even said it in the video. Mofo and Sentinel really have been improving every round. They didn't pick up a victory here, but they definitely made Hex and Silent work for it.
Yeah, I played with Mofo the other day against Daffy and somebody, and we did really well together. I mean, he's definitely improving.
Yeah,
He
for
listens,
sure.
he follows instructions, so it's
Yeah.
good. All right, so that's the end of our 4th round of Swiss. Our next topic is going to be the favorite match of Swiss in its entirety. I want to hear everyone's favorite match they've seen so far.
Oh,
we'll
in its
start off
entirety.
with Xanxus. What's your favorite match you've seen so far?
The favorite one that I've seen so far has got to be, I think it was the Ebony and Kanye versus
Don't you steal
Shadow
mine.
Shield Nesper. Yeah.
Okay, that's a different one.
That's a good one.
No, I think that one was my favorite one, just
From this
because
round of Swiss?
it was such a close match. And then
Yeah.
definitely during the ending, there was a lot of mistakes made, and I think if there was a little things that were changed, like Bregan suggested, like the corpse pickup, there was a lot of times where they would just kind of let Ebony walk around and just go ahead and pick up Kanye and stuff like that. But I think little small adjustments, and that was one of the matches that kind of kept me on my feet. I think I was watching, and I'm like, I didn't know who was going to win at that point. So
All right, Bregan, what's your favorite one?
I was gonna say actually Connie and Ebony versus Choices and Mario, because we finally got to see another side of them here. Because I don't know, I feel like while it's effective, I still feel like it's kind of a stale gameplay with the quantum decay and violent change. It's not as fun to cast, and like I don't know, it's kind of like rolling the dice. Like, can you kill them before they get the pop out? Like it's a good strategy, but it doesn't feel like high enough percentage on the win to make it like you're all in. And so we saw them finally go and do a different strategy that round versus Choices in Mario. And I liked seeing the depth of their gameplay, that they can do another style and still be dominant. And I hope to see more of that out of them, because honestly, it's more fun to watch, it's more fun to cast, and I think it's a better style for them. When they got on there, they picked attacks and they just picked apart Choices in Mario. They outfought them, and they looked really good doing it. I can't remember if it was a 3-0 or a 3-1, but it was clean. And like the fights were fun. It was active. It was back and forth. Like, I thought both teams showed good gameplay, because I think that's been one of my struggles in this tournament, is things have been mixed up, and I feel like some of the gameplay level is lower. And both of those teams, I feel like, are the two cleanest teams we've had in the tournament so far. And so seeing them have a clean knockout, drag-out fight like that was actually a lot of fun to cast and watch.
I believe it was a 3-1, and the one victory that Poor and Mario got was on Panorama.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with Goatrix. What's your favorite so far?
Esper Shadow versus Evo Xanxus. That was my favorite one to watch.
That was pretty fun.
It was, and it was an overall good matchup. Obviously, we joked a lot about the Mimi skills, the Kai Palms, the Ice Swords, the Cyclo Shells, and such. But at the same time, it was a good series. There was a lot of knockdown, drag out. There was some jank. It was probably the most entertaining one of the ones to watch. As much as I like actually seeing, like, I'm the opposite of Bregan. I like watching Kanye and Ebony annoy the crap out of people with the nonstop erase. But at the same time, that was a much more fun, just straight up brawling matchup between you guys. I really like that one.
Except for Lane. Lane, there was no brawly.
Yeah, except for that one.
Murder.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Xanxus and Evo versus Asper and Shadow as well. It was just a fun series to watch.
All right. My favorite was Murder and SC versus Doom and OG. That's where SC really shined, and I thought it was really funny watching Doom railgun OG Kuma.
I thoroughly enjoyed that too.
That's right, that did happen.
That was my favorite part of the entire Swiss round, actually. So, go figure.
Yeah, when you only play 2 matches.
I had to forfeit one.
Murder, still the king of buys and forfeits.
Bregan, don't forget, we had a forfeiture too. Shut up.
All right, so our next topic.
Go ahead.
Our next topic is going to be the changes from the 8 teams to 10 teams in elimination.
Yeah,
I headlined this. The reason why I decided to go with the 10 teams is because we have a 3-way tie for first and a 4-way tie for the last 4 open slots. So what we ended up, Murder and I, deciding to do was we took the last 4 placed teams that all have 0 points, and we put them in a random algorithm to find out they're going to play one another. There's going to be an extra round of elimination in the very beginning. So Zex and Sardonic, Mirage and Darcia, Doom and OG, Poor and Mario will all be, 2v2 and one of those other opponents. Do you want me to pull over the
bracket already so they can see the bracket?
Yeah, I was going to say, go ahead and pull it up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because we're going to be discussing them here shortly, just so they have a better idea what you're talking about.
So, and next I took the 3 first place ties and threw them in a random algo, and whatever 2 came up first, we're going to play the winners of the 0 point winners. So if you look at it, is it up right now?
Yeah, I've got the bracket and the record up on the same page.
So the first roll I did was the all zeros. I got Zex and Sardonic versus Mirage and Darcia. All right, and then I got Doom and OG versus Poor and Mario. The next roll I did was the first place. The first name that came out was Bregan and Goatrix. They will be playing Zex and Sardonic or Mirage and Darcia. And then I did a second roll with Ebony and Kanye and Esper and Shadow in the mix. Kanye and Ebony's name came up. They will be playing either Doom and OG or Poor and Mario. Now, the reason I chose to do this was simple. We have Swiss rounds for a reason. First place should be rewarded. So basically what this does is it not only eliminates 2 teams to give us a clean 8-team tournament, but it also gives an extra week of preparation to 2 of the 3 first place ties. So while everybody else has a week to play, Bregan and Goatrix and Kanye and Ebony will have 2 weeks to prepare.
As for Shadow who tied, forget you guys.
Well, sorry about your luck, guys, but your name did not come out. You are voted off the island. So, that being said, we can now discuss our matchups. We can talk about the 2 or the 4 0-point teams.
Yeah, let's do those first. Yeah.
So the first one we'll discuss is Zex and Sardonic versus Mirage and Darcia. Whoever wants to take that, go ahead.
I'll take it.
Did we see this matchup already? I feel like we saw this match.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I feel like they played in like Swiss round 2.
They did. Darcia basically had life, and he had 18 health until the very end.
Yeah, so we've seen this matchup.
Wait, so what was the result? I can't remember it.
3-0
Zex and Sardonic took it.
Okay.
Yep.
3-0. So we get the rematch, and honestly, if I'm Mirage and Darcia, break out your nastiest, stankiest jank, because, go all or nothing here. You already lost to these guys 3-0. Not to say that they're the best or the worst team in the tournament, but you've lost to them previously, and you played them kind of straight up before. At least have some fun with it and see if you can pick up some of these cheeky wins. Go for the nastiest, dirtiest stuff you have.
Go for the
Well, at this point, I mean, you've already seen how they play together. You have an idea of what you've had 4 rounds now to figure out what works together and what doesn't. Plus, haven't Mirage and Darcia played in a previous tag team together?
Yeah, they have.
At this point, basically, if you're not willing to change up your strategy and try something different, then we could be looking at another 3-0. I'm hoping that's not the case. I mean, I don't care. I want to stomp the shit out of whoever we have to play, out the winner of these 2. Doesn't matter. But, if they don't want to repeat, they need to really bring their A game.
Xanxus, anything to add?
Yeah, I feel like either that or maybe just possibly change it up, because I feel a lot of the things that they use, a simple orb can counteract most of it unless they freeze them. Which I think that Zex they bring it every single game. I don't think I ever see Zex always runs in like an orb, and Sardonic seems to be running it as well. So I think maybe they might need to change it up a little bit. Even if they bring some of that, I don't think it'll be enough. But I would say, I mean, they're even good at brawling. I think one of the rounds they had against us, I think in Palace, they completely, slaughtered us with the vibration blaster, fast start. And they were pretty aggressive. So I think if they maybe change it up, maybe still bring the jank, change things up, but, maybe some rounds bring some aggression as well. So.
Yeah, that bundle blaster is nasty.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, Doom and OG versus Poor and Mario. This should be a good one.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the most fun matches to watch. Poor Mario could still take it, especially if Doom and OG don't fix their synergy up a little bit. I think Poor Mario stand a good chance to take it. But it's going to be a hard battle for Poor Mario. They'll have to hopefully practice more than an hour before they play their match.
Let's real quick. Let's take a step back. Predictions for Zex and Sardonic versus Mirage and Darcia.
I'm gonna say Zex and Sardonic 3-1 victory. I think Mirage and Darcia are gonna do something janky that they're not ready for.
Goatrix.
I'm gonna say without a change 3-0 Sardonic Zex again.
Bregan.
3-0 Zex and Sardonic.
Zam.
I'm gonna say a 3-1 for them.
I'm gonna go with the
I'm
I'm gonna go with the 3-0.
Yeah, I was
Same
going to
as
say just a
before.
little context on mine is that I have expected more out of Mirage and Darcia this tournament after their last tournament showing, and it hasn't delivered yet. Not that they've been dumpster fire, but I've expected better things from them than what I've seen in this tournament, and I think, unless that trend changes, that I have to go with the 3-0 for Zex and Sardonic.
All right, back to where we were. Xanxus, go ahead and take Doom and OG versus Poor Mario. What do you think?
For the results, I would say I'm going to give it a 3-2, and I'm going to say Doom and OG take it.
All right. We can still discuss the teams.
Mm-hmm.
Bregan, any thoughts on these two teams, 4 players?
Do you want real thoughts or meme thoughts?
You take it whatever road you want to go.
All right, meme thoughts. Choices is still tilted after his last round, and Doom and OG sweep.
Ooh.
That's not mean. That's
Mario.
just realistic. No.
I think it's going to be a
Goatrix.
fun matchup one way or the other. They're both teams that are going to fight it out. I don't think Poor and Mario are going to go out of their way for any crazy jank or anything like that. If they do, it could be effective against them. I could see both those players being heavily affected by jank. But I think it'll be fun because they play a solid coordinated offense, and Doom and OG have not shown a solid coordinated offense, but it's still Doom, and sometimes he just pulls out that paintbrush and shows that he's still an artist. So definitely a fun match.
Bregan's still on the nuts of Doom. Big
Yep.
changes, guys. Big changes.
Big changes. My answer's kind of going to mirror Bregan's, but it's basically going to be who's more on tilt versus who stays focused. Like, I don't know. Doom's had some matches. Doom and OG have had some matches where they did fall apart and it did cost them. I mean, they're part of that 2-2 tie bracket, so clearly they haven't been doing. He hasn't been playing like to the same level we expect out of him, and then obviously OG's kind of a wild card in this. It really is going to depend on which team decides to keep it together. If Mario and Kamikaze keep it together longer, Mario and Choices, sorry, keep it together longer, then I think they can pull off a win. But I just have a feeling that it's probably going to tilt more in favor of Doom and OG. So I'm going to say 3-2 Doom OG.
I like Poor Mario, but I'm going to back my boy OG, and Doom is always Doom, so I'll give him the sweep as well, 3-0.
Honest prediction, I think Mario and Choices take it 3-2 because I don't feel like Doom and OG have had it together. Doom is Doom and he does Doom things, but they haven't been coordinated. Poor and Mario, Choices and Mario, I don't like calling them poor. Choices and Mario have had it together this tournament, and despite not having a stellar showing so far, they haven't shown really a diminished level either. They're still playing solid, coordinated Phantom Dust, and I feel like the coordinated gameplay is going to be the deciding factor in this matchup.
Actually, to be fair, let's look at the teams Poor and Mario have faced. They fought
Sardonic.
the two of you, Bregan and Goatrix. They fought Xanxus and Sardonic. They fought Kanye and Ebony. They've had a rough road. So
was their fourth
we really. I think Orange and Snow.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's what it was.
Yeah, they've had a pretty tough tournament.
So this might not be. We might see something out of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Poor Mario as well. I'm gonna say 3-2.
All right. Next matchup, we are skipping over Bregan and Goatrix because they have 2 weeks to prepare now, and it is Daffy and Wardog versus myself and Xanxus, round 2.
So Daffy and Wardog, we already did see this matchup where Xanxus and Evo took it 3-1.
No, it was 3-0.
No, didn't you guys lose on? You guys lost on one, didn't you?
No, we won 3-0.
I was versus
Okay.
Mirage and Darcy on Palace.
Oh, okay, that's what I was thinking of. Okay, my bad. Alright, so 3-0. And I really don't expect things to change too much unless Daffy and Wardog are... these two people do play often, so maybe they are in the lab trying out some new things.
They certainly are.
I'm still going to give it to Xanxus and Evo, but I think Daffy and Wardog can definitely surprise them. So, but I'm going to go with a cautious 3-1 victory in favor of Xanxus and Evo. But Daffy and Wardog, if they try some new stuff out or change up their gameplay a little bit, I think they can possibly give an upset.
They've been pulling out the jank. They've been playing a chill breeze, vicious balance.
Don't be giving out their plans, man.
And whatever.
All right.
This is savagery.
All right.
I'll give out plans.
I think one thing we could do too before I guess we still haven't done predictions on them. We should finish them first.
That I gave mine. Go on.
Xanxus and Evo 3-0.
3-0. I mean, Daffy and Wardog, in my opinion, are two very underrated players. I don't know.
I just haven't seen the coordination out of them that I expected.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Individually, they're good, but together, they don't quite have it there yet. Yeah, you're right.
I'm basically going to give this as a blanket answer going forward for any teams that are kind of like the ones that got eliminated. Obviously, the Mirage Garcia. Basically, for a lot of the teams that are stuck in that, where we're calling the 3-0s, a lot of the issues seem to be the same. They don't play enough together. They don't coordinate enough together. Their arsenal builds need work. I mean, I get it. There's real life and all that gets in the way, but I mean, if you're going to play and you want to get past the tougher teams, the ones who even do just a smidgen more preparation, the biggest thing is that they're going to have to change their arsenal builds. No more 11 aura vibration blaster arsenals. No more, no more. You got to break off from what you have been doing and try to mix it up a little bit more. And that's really going to be my thing for any of the teams that we've seen that have been on the lower performance side, and that's why they're performing that way.
Do you have a prediction?
3-0 for Xanxus Evo.
Okay. I'm going to stay quiet. Zan, do you have anything you want to add or no?
No, I mean, they definitely improved from the last time they played us. So I think a lot of what decided our round was Wardog was running in guns a-blazing during the very beginning of the game. And you saw a little bit different with their previous round. You can even hear it, like Wardog kind of hesitating to move out. He was waiting for a shield and stuff. So they're definitely improving overall. But I think either case it's gonna be a good match because, depends if they use jank and all that stuff. But either case, it's gonna be a great match, I believe.
And Xanxus is just like too nice and respectful in these. Like I'm just waiting for the next time when it's like, hey Xanxus, what do you think about your next round matchup? Like, oh man, I'm just gonna wipe these kids.
That's what he's gonna say. That's what he's gonna say after his next match.
That'll be against yours, Bregan.
Yeah. There you go.
I didn't catch any of that, but that's okay. What I was going to say that we could also do is for the two matches that we can't quite make predictions for yet because they're waiting on the 4 0-point teams, we could say which team we think that they would rather face and make like predictions on how they would do versus either one.
I'm down for that. We'll just we'll get through Murder and SC versus Esper and Shadow, and then we'll hop on that real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, Murder and SC versus Esper and Shadow. Both teams look good. I think Esper and Shadow proved some people wrong.
They did. They proved me wrong.
They definitely have some tricks up their sleeve. They are not. I mean, even if they're not necessarily that different from what their standard gameplay is. I feel like Esper is really going all out to try and find the best fit for Shadow's playstyle. So I think this is going to be a real grindy match. I don't see a whole lot of in-your-face punching each other. I think this is going to be a lot of Murder, doing his hit in the back kind of thing and letting SC loose like he did against Doom and OG. And if they can figure out a way to shut down Shadow Shield and his Dance of Death Psycho Burst, then this could go, in Murder and SC's favor pretty easily. But I'm definitely going to give it to Esper and Shadow 3-2 as of right now.
Murder, can you remind me of what teams you actually played in this tournament? I know you played versus Doom and OJ.
Kanye, Ebony, Doom, OG, and Second Silent.
Oh, man, it's still so hard to gauge you guys because our game footage consists of Doom and OG, which I think even you've called. It looked like they weren't having their best day, and then against Hextech and Silent. What is that? Did somebody just start a dirt bike like next to your microphone? What? So we the game footage we have for you guys is so limited. We have just the one match, and then the other match against a lower ranked team. So it's so hard for me to make my calls on you guys because we saw SC look, and again I remember you saying this as well, that he looked above his regular standard in that match versus Doom and OG, and then it's hard to gauge versus a team like Hex and Silent. He's looked solid there, but it's hard to say how is he going to play against some of these other top teams when we didn't see what happened versus you and versus Connie and Ebony because we don't have any of that footage. I know that you lost.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know what happened.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, it's so hard for me to call any matches for you guys because I have no usable footage.
I agree 100%, and the only reason I'm giving it to Esper and Shadow is because Murder made the comment that he did not prepare for Kanye and Ebony because it was boring, I guess, or something. Here's my thing, all right? Here's my thing. You can't do that. You're letting your partner down when you don't do that. I hope you prepare for Esper and Shadow, but SC's in this to win this, as he should be. He really stepped forward. He played a damn good game against Doom and OG, and I hope that you take the time to prep with him because, I mean, what may be boring to you, this is a possibility of his first tournament win.
Me and War Machine our schedules are a little more different than I thought when we planned. That's the main reason. When we actually do get to play each other, I want to play and practice. But that's another thing.
Yeah.
Since the last time I've only played with him once, and that was yesterday since our last tournament match. But that's neither here or there. Just thought I had to defend myself real quick since I was getting attacked.
Yeah, no, that should be given for all of us, is that life happens. So completely understandable. I'm going to say it's going to be a 3-2 no matter what, but I really think the main thing is going to be what Shadow's batting average is going to be. Because if he lands at least 30% or more Psycho Burst and Dance of Death, then I think he'll be able to win because they'll just out-damage. But if they don't, then it'll probably go in the favor of Murder and SC.
Yeah, I don't think some of their switch hitting is going to work against Murder, so it's going to be up to whether they can outfight or if they can get through enough of Murder's shields to really break them down. Based on what I have seen, I want to lean towards Esper and Shadow because they have impressed me in this tournament. But again, I haven't seen enough of Murder and War Machine to get the full measure that I would like to have. And after some of the Arsenal builds that I saw last round, I think I would have to tip a 3-2 to Murder and War Machine.
Yeah, Murder and SC are definitely the Yeti team because they are not on camera very much.
What do you think, Sykes?
The Yeti team.
I agree with the same results. 3-2 for Murder and SC, and I think it's just going to come down to the prep work. So I think if they can prep for some of those things that Esper and Shadow like to use, they can definitely take it. But it's definitely going to be a really, really good match. Again, I can see them brawling it out. And the only other thing I could say would be if they try any jank hanging stuff, kind of like they did in our game. I didn't expect them to hang particular things and stuff like that. So, but I would give it to SC and War Machine just from the footage that I've seen so far.
So we got a lot of different answers. One thing I think we can all agree on is this round is going to eliminate one of the top contenders. Definitely one of the prospects that everyone had for taking it. So this is going to be a pretty tight match. I'm excited for this one.
I'm going to give a
I
quick
think this is
prop
probably
to my
the
partner.
one I want to see about it.
That one thing I'll say about War Machine, I think he makes me a better player because one thing about me, when I used to play with Jay, me and Jay both got really worked up when we played, and you can't play worked up; it doesn't work. And War Machine is always just so calm that it makes me more calm because I don't want to lose my shit when he's being cool.
No.
So I feel like that is something that people aren't noticing about one thing we play together.
I've played with him as well, and he's always calm and collected no matter the situation. He could be down, and he's still calm about it. So
yeah, he is. He's just like, oh man, no aura.
You don't feel that extra pressure on you.
Yeah.
So
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
We got that with a couple players. OG Krum is another one like that. You can't get that man frustrated. It just doesn't
So
happen.
is Shadow Shield.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if we'd heard his audio after getting railgunned in the face by Doom.
He told me he thought it was SC who did it. He didn't actually know it was Doom.
See that motherfucker. All right, sorry, I dragged that on. All right,
So Bregan and Goatrix, you two get to be quiet, and we can get thoughts on who we would like them to see them play, who would have the better outlook, and what would be the better match. Murder, go ahead.
so we already did see Bregan and Goatrix take on Xanxus and Sardonic, correct? Where they won
Yes.
3-1?
3-1.
3-1? Yeah, I
The
think
one we lost was that infamous door.
yes, that's one of my
Still
favorite
close.
matchups in the entire series. Because how just watching Bregan play and just get mad when people are popping his capsules brings a joy to my life that I cannot describe.
If
But
if somebody pops one of Bregan's capsules, just
Only
one, this
one
some bitch
capsule.
gets so tilted.
Like, you guys act like I don't know this. And I'm like, yeah, I hear about it all the time. It's like, my capsules! I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Hey,
It was
to be
my-
fair, I've been popped a lot this tournament, and I feel like I've actually been pretty calm about it. I got popped out on Refinery.
Yeah, you did, and we still took it, so it's okay. They're there.
All right,
Yeah, we
so
still
already
took
saw
it
the
because
Xanxus and
I killed
Sardonic.
them.
We saw the Xanxus Sardonic match. So I think either way, Bregan and Goatrix have a good matchup in their way. I think either way, they're set up for victory here. Nothing against either team, but I feel Bregan and Goatrix are just have a better teamwork than Xanxus Sardonic, and they're just better players than Mirage and Darcia at the moment. So I think either way, Bregan and Goatrix are golden here. I hope one of the teams proves me wrong, though. That'd be exciting and unexpected to see.
What do you think, Xanxus?
It's hard for me to really decide because the Sardonic and Zex, like, I still can't get a feel on, and I don't know if this is the same with everybody else, but I can't get a feel on what you can usually tell what direction somebody's going with an arsenal. Like, if they're using a Rian Tiger Strength, they're breaking shields and stuff like that. A lot of times when I'm watching their matches, I'm not sure what direction they're taking it, whether they're trying to do a pop out or just be aggressive
Yeah.
in there.
I did
So I
notice
think
that.
that's where I'm not too sure, but I think they may try a different approach. I'm still going to root for my partner. I think he'll be able to do it. It'll be a close match. And I would say, are we doing like predictions as well, or?
Basically, you're predicting who's going to make it out of the Zex Sardonic versus Mirage and Darcia, and
Do they have what it
who's
takes to beat Bregan and Goatrix?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I say they have what it takes, but I think they need to get more play time together. Because I can tell you personally, Zex hasn't been really playing much lately. So it's like the only time he gets on is usually for that day of the match. So it's like they need to get some more prep time in.
Yeah, Sardonic needs to get his game plan down to more linear. There was one game where he was running around with like an ice sword. He always has diabolical trick, and he's scared to override it because I know he loves popping capsules. But if you are all in on the popping capsules, that diabolical trick's not going to win you games. And there's some games where he has the decoy, and he's just running around with decoy and not doing other attacks. He just needs to find out what he's trying to do in the match with his arsenal.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that will,
how I feel. I feel as
yeah.
well. Like if you're using decoy, somebody should be in their face. You know, either hit him with a sword or a Rian. Like, but I feel like they're using decoy, and it's just a decoy, and that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I've said it before too. If Sardonic would take some boost mines, a vibration blaster, and a Tiger Strength and go to town and let Zex be Zex and ping him in the forehead with slide lasers and twist lasers and simple spammy moves. Let Zex do the support role. He needs to take lead. I feel like they would be a much more effective team if Sardonic would focus more on the aggressive lead role.
That's another thing. The whole support role thing. Like when we played together, we never had the game plan for him to play a support role. We were always just trying to be both aggressive, but for some reason, it always looked like he was always taking a support role, and we would always laugh about it because everybody would say, "Oh, Zex is taking a support role," and we're like, "No, he's just running his usual arsenals." So.
Well, the thing is,
it can
you
be
gotta
your usual arsenals, but the way he plays versus the way you played is you were always kind of like the bigger hits, and he was always the constant barrage offense that would set you up, and that's just the way he plays, is like just this constant dogged offense. Because I'll tell you, he's one of the players that drives me nuts, and I shouldn't be saying this because I'm probably going to be playing him here in a week. But one of the things that makes me the most mad while playing Xanxus is he will spend whole minutes just following me around with a flame sword. Like, I've never found anybody quite so dogged in a chase as Xanxus is. He will just keep following you over and over, and he just won't leave you alone to go get another attack. Like
War Dog will do that too.
War Dog does it with Fire Gehenna and then he dies, whereas Xanxus, doesn't die, and he just puts on this constant offense, and it gave Xanxus so many openings for big nasty hits, and that's part of what I think made them work, is that Xanxus has a very good dogged offense that doesn't stop, and he somehow, despite not using a lot of buffs and quick starts, doesn't get erased out, which I think is a big factor.
Yeah.
He manages to not get erased out, and he just constantly exerts pressure.
That's another thing
obnoxious.
too. Take advantage of that. Like, you have a pickup artist in this matchup. Xanxus can make pickups that you wouldn't believe. Take advantage of that. Use the high aggression. Lose a little health. It's okay. You're going to get picked up, Sardonic. Put in the high damage aggression. Grab grab an Excalibur and a Bravery Decision. Grab a Vibration Blaster. Take a Rian and Tiger Strength. Just do something that puts out that high damage, because Zex will set you up with his spammable attacks for you to get in those hits.
Yeah, and I think Sardonic as well. He's one of the most, like, as Bregan said before, I think this was in a previous podcast, he's one of the most, like, for a jumper, he's really tough to hit. Like, I've played games, I think it was me and you, Evo, played against Zex and him, and, like, he was just walking different attacks, jumping Rians, and I'm like, damn, dude, that's he's really tough. He maneuvers really good.
He was our main target, and he was dodging our attacks, so we said screw it, and we started double-teaming Zex, and we started winning a few when we started double-teaming Zex. He's squirrely, but he needs to take advantage of the fact that his teammate is arguably one of the best, cartwheelers and pickup artists in the game. Take advantage of it. Like, it is literally on a platter ready for you to grasp and take control of this tournament.
Yeah, go back and watch other Xanxus matches. Like you will, now that I've pointed it out, I bet you see it every time. Like, he will get like a rock shot and a flame sword, or just one or the other, and he will just constantly, without stopping, like, just sit there and fire at you over and over and over and
he'll stay at 19. He'll stay at 19 capsules the whole game with the same attacks he's got. Like I'm one to run through my arsenal. He will not delete any attack in his deck. So.
Yeah, he is one of the most dogged players I've ever seen in this game. Because most people, like, if I get flame sword pressure, I get some good damage down. Like, oh, my partner doesn't really have pressure. I'm gonna back out. That's never Xanxus. He'll stop swinging it sometimes, and he'll just follow you. He'll just walk behind you the whole time. And as soon as you do something, then you get hit. And, like, he'll just follow you all day. And he's like, I can't do anything because he's just standing there. Make him stop.
I think if Zex and Sardonic take advantage of this and heed the words that we are saying, I think you have a real threat in your hands, Bregan. If they find that in them, I think we all do, really. I hope they do. I want to see it happen. Anyone else have anything they want to add, or can we move on?
Nothing.
All good.
Kanye and Ebony. they have their choice. Well, they don't have their choice, but they have the choice of Doom and OG or Poor and Mario, both of which are extremely tough teams to beat.
So this
Bregan,
one here. Oh, go ahead.
or Murder, whatever.
I was just gonna say this one here. We already saw the Poor Mario and Kanye Ebony. I think Poor and Mario actually have a higher chance to beat Kanye and Ebony because they're willing to pull out the jank. So I feel if Doom and OG advance, Kanye and Ebony aren't going to take any chances with trying to battle them out, just like they didn't take any chances with me and War Machine. They just played jank most of the rounds, tried popping all our capsules, and I feel Doom and OG won't be able to fight against that, while Poor and Mario are willing to play more of the jankier stuff. So I think if Kanye and Ebony wanted to fight someone, they'd pick Doom and OG because they know what they bring compared to Poor and Mario.
Could you imagine the day Doom throws in violent changes into an arsenal?
He won't.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't see that happening, but if he does, it would catch people off guard. So
I'm kind of torn on this one. I'm kind of torn on this one because like Mario and Choices, they always bring stuff like Orb and Amulet because honestly they don't like playing super janky either. They hate hanging. They hate 8-level arrays. They hate all that type of stuff, and they still lost to Kanye and Ebony. Whereas Doom has people have hung on him before. People have tried to erase his levels before, and he's outplayed them still. So I'm not sure which one is going to really be the worst of the two. Honestly, if I was Kanye and Ebony, I would much rather see Mario and Choices. Mario and Choices again than I would see Doom and OG.
Yeah.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah, I kind of agree with it as well, just because they've shown that they don't have to do the race versus Poor and Mario, which is probably the worst strat against them. But they can't outfight them. You know, Poor and Mario do have a good offense and good coordination, but Kanye and Ebony have shown that they can solidly outfight them. Whereas Doom is very resilient versus that kind of stuff. And, you know, I don't think that they can switch it. If they just try to straight fight Doom, you know, that's close. I think that's probably still the better the better tactic is to fight Doom for them, because I think, you know, if they fight Doom, they're also fighting OG, and they can maybe outfight them together. But you know, I feel like it's a more dicey situation when it comes to Doom and OG than it is Poor Choices and Mario.
Well, I can say this much: if they get even a remotely slow start with that level race setup, as top heavy that Arsenal is, Doom is definitely the type of person that will punish you for that. So I would much rather, as I always said, I think Doom would be the scarier choice between the two teams, just because if they do falter on the level race strategy at all or the popping, Doom's going to make them pay for it very quickly.
Either way, they're looking at a safety net team that's going to be running Judgments and Turbulences and Orbs versus a all-out offensive nightmare that is Doom and OG. So either way, it's going to be a rough road. I think we're going to see some L's taken on Kanye and Ebony, but I'm still going to give them the win no matter who they get.
Yeah, I have to agree as well with that.
I'm gonna say if Doom OG make it, I say Doom OG take it 3-2. I say they pull it together and they beat him.
Now it's worth noting, Doom and Kanye wiped the floor with Savage and Ebony in the last tournament. Does anyone remember that? I mean, Doom went in with a Hyper Kai bullet and basically mopped them up and down Highway and every other map they played.
And it's crazy because ever since the 1v1 tournament where after Ebony won, Kanye super adapted that style and that arsenal from him, and so it makes sense that they play together on a team, and they're actually way better at it together than Ebony and Savage ever were.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, I'm gonna say whoever they play, Kanye and Ebony win as well.
All right. Unless anyone else has anything to add, we can move on to our next topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
All good.
Team to beat. Has anyone changed? Mine was still Ebony and Kanye. I'm keeping it that way.
I think that's who I said. No, I switched mine to Xanxus and Evo. Yeah, I'm still gonna say Xanxus and Evo.
Bregan?
I mean, based on what we've seen in Swiss, we saw Xanxus and Evo lose to Esper and Shadow, who have lost to Kanye and Ebony. So I guess I'd have to switch over to Kanye and Ebony.
based on
I'm
this
just going
logic.
off a record here. Esper and Shadow impressed me, but they still lost to Kanye and Ebony.
All right, Goatrix, team to beat.
Realistically, Kanye and Ebony at this point, because they're the team that's most gun for. Their strategy is the most on the table of anyone, and yet nobody has managed to slow down.
Xanxus.
Mine's gonna have to be a repeat just because of the results that they've put through. Like nobody's really been able to take a game off of them, so I'd have to go with them just with all the stats and stuff.
It's worth noting that when I did this random algorithm, I accidentally had all the teams jumbled up together. We still managed to get Doom and OG. It's really weird how it happened. Doom and OG still had to fight Poor and Mario, but all the other names were in that list as well. Zex and Sardonic were going to fight Daffy and Wardog, and you and I, Zan, were going to play Kanye and Ebony, and then I realized I had all the teams in one basket.
Oh, collusion!
Ooh.
Favorite word.
So, that is pretty funny that we could have had our chance, but I messed up.
Somebody build me a wall to get me away from this bullshit.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I'm sure Trump can do that for you, buddy. Anyways, not that was a joke. No one, I don't need to hear that.
Yeah,
argument
but
with anyone.
yeah. Moving along.
Dark horse. So we are all in agreement, with the exception of Murder, that Kanye and Ebony are going to be the team to take it. So I don't think that they can really be included in this. Who would everyone like to think that has the biggest opportunity to move up and take it out from under them?
For me, it's Bregan and Goatrix.
Zan?
Who would be able to take it? I would say possibly
Dark horse.
Esper and Shadow, possibly.
Let's get some Ys though. Give me some Ys on these.
I would say they've been improving, and they actually have some sort of game plan. Like they're not running their usual arsenals. It seems like Esper is trying to change it up, and they have some sort of game plan for each match. So I would say that if they can continue that trend, and they seem to be playing a lot together, from what I've
They're on
seen.
every night.
Yeah, they're on every night, so they're getting their game time together and everything like that. And I can see them definitely making an upset and taking it.
What about you, Murder? Why Bregan and Goatrix?
I just feel they're the next best team, so Bregan and Goatrix. I think they can beat Kanye and Ebony, and I think they can beat Esper and Shadow. So there you go.
All right, Bregan.
My dark horse, I guess I'll return the hand job. It's got to be Murder and War Machine, actually, because I haven't seen a lot of footage out of them. SC War Machine, in the one video I did get to see, either overperformed or has stepped up. I still feel like Arsenal build-wise, they're probably a top 2, top 3 team on having core. Like, I feel like so many of these teams have like critical weaknesses, and I feel like they're one of the ones that has the fewest because they are technically sound, well coordinated, and have good strategy and arsenal building. I feel like they still have some weak areas, namely that War Machine hasn't been in a lot of high profile matches or anything like that in the past, so I'd say they still have a weakness. But compared to some of these other teams, like when it comes to, Xanxus and Evo are another one that would be more obvious, right? So I wouldn't call them a dark horse, or like Esper and Shadow, who've been a bit of a front runner. Murder and War Machine have flown under the radar, which I think is like the definition of a dark horse. They haven't been seen much. We don't know too much, but they still have a solid outside shot, of taking this tournament. So I would have to call them my dark horse for that one. I'm excited to see how they do versus Esper and Shadow in the next round by quite a bit.
Nice. Goatrix.
I'm gonna put on my Bregan 123 mask and say do emoji. I think what's gonna happen is that just by the way the brackets laid out, I think they probably would. Well, I guess it's gonna really depend on obviously the Kanye Ebony play out, but I think they have a fairly good bracket ahead of them for sneaking in, for taking advantage of stuff that they do very well, and If and if OG can get a little bit better coordinated with Doom, I think they'll be able to sweep through. But of course, I want to say they're going to lose to us. But if there's going to be a dark horse choice for me, it's going to be Doom OG.
Nice. Xanxus, have you gone already?
Yeah, I did.
All right, my dark horse is going to be Zex and Sardonic if they heed the words that we have all spoken. All right. Questions or comments? Does anyone have any questions? And also after this, I have one last thing. I know Murder did it in another podcast. Fun questions. I just came up with 3. They'll be real quick.
I actually have a question that I think a lot of people are wondering. So, Zex, Sardonic, Mirage, the Zex, Mirage, Doom, Poor, and then the other 2 matches are all going to happen at the same, or not happen. They all have the same time span to play, correct? So it's not like
Bregan and Goatrix and Kanye and Ebony are the only ones that get an extra week.
Okay, but they don't know who their opponents are until after they play.
So
then
Murder
that week
and War
begins.
Machine is going on versus Esper and Shadow at the same time as Doom and OG versus Choices of Mario?
Yeah,
That's my question. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. And then everybody has to wait on me and Kanye.
And, yes, correct.
All right,
So the
I'll make sure to
deadline
take my dear sweet time.
Is the deadline still a week? Or
It's a week for the first, and then a week for the Bregan and Goatrix versus whoever, Kanye and Ebony versus whoever.
Okay, cool. That cleared it up.
Any other questions?
Nope.
All right, so real quick, I have 3 fun questions. I want to get everyone's prediction on the 2 teams that will be facing off against each other and who do they think will win. In the finals, yes. Murder.
Xanxus and Evo versus Kanye and Ebony.
Goatrix.
Myself and Bregan versus Esper and Shadow.
Okay. Bregan.
Me and Goat versus Murder and War Machine.
Okay. Xanxus.
Bregan and Goatrix. So we're saying who's the final team, right?
The final two.
Who do you think are going to be the final 2 teams facing off? Now, if you want to review the bracket, you can tell who is going to and who isn't going to play one another, so you can get a pretty good idea.
If you're picking me, you're picking yourself to lose.
Okay, so I would say, kind of my same, the Esper and Shadow versus Ebony and Kanye.
Well, they can't.
Put the finals, right?
Side of the
They
bracket.
can't.
Oh my
They're in the
god!
same
Do we have to
bracket.
explain the way brackets work right now? God.
No, I'm just not looking at the bracket at the moment. I'm on my phone.
Me and you are on the same side of the bracket. Kanye, Ebony, Murder, Doom, and Esper are on the other side of the bracket.
Don't forget Daffy and War Dog.
Xexus and Sardonic are also on our side of the bracket. So it's me, you, Zex, Sardonic, Mirage, Darcia, Daffy, and War Dog. And then the other side of the bracket is Kanye, Doom, Choices Mario, Murder, and Esper and Shadow.
Okay, give me a second, guys.
I
how
think it's
about-
going to be Murder and SC versus myself and Xanxus. Even though I picked Kanye and Ebony as the team to beat, I do believe that one team will eventually find a way to beat them.
I mean, single elimination now. So,
Yep.
a loss and you're out.
3 bad ore starts. Here we go.
Now's the time to do it.
Yeah, so I would say something similar. Murder and SC with either myself or Bregan and Goatrix. So that's kind of a tie there between them. But I would say myself and Evo versus Murder and SC.
All right, awesome. The next quick question: who, individually, not as a team, what individual player has shown the biggest improvement?
Sentinel, and
I meant for the current teams that are.
Current teams that are still in.
Yes.
Oh,
Esper.
Kanye.
I say Goatrix.
Are you talking about, well, I mean, if I were to talk about Kanye, like in recent months, definitely Kanye, but in this tournament, I don't feel like that so much. I feel like they're at about the same level as where they started in this
Oh, I
tournament.
definitely think I think Kanye played better in this tournament than he has in any other tournament. by
Yes,
far.
We're
I was
just talking
saying-
about this tournament.
Yeah, I'm
From
talking about,
Swiss
like-
round, first round to now.
Yeah, I was saying I think
Okay.
that Kanye has played the same throughout the tournament.
Okay. Well, then in that event, Kanye.
I'm definitely going with SC.
That's a good
Yeah, I would say either Esper. Esper has shown the most growth, but SD I believe is a lot better than when I first asked him to be my partner. And I'm saying a lot because he wasn't bad when I picked him. So yeah, I'm gonna say War Machine.
All right. The final question is, what team grasped the victory from the jaws of defeat the most impressively to you? And that can include any of the eliminated teams as well.
Esper and Shadow beating Xanxus.
Yeah, probably Xanxus and Evo beating Doom and OG. Got that reverse sweep in on him.
Yeah, I'll go with the reverse sweep. Yeah, I'll go with the reverse sweep. as well.
Xanxus.
I would say that one as well, because that even surprised me. Like, we didn't have any prep work. We just showed up that night, and after we lost, well, you did. I didn't prep. I had barely played the game, and losing 2 straight rounds, like I don't know. Like, I feel like we didn't really diminish. We were still in it to win it. So. Then we got the 3-0. Like, didn't I actually, like, well, you don't have it in, there was no audio in it, but if there was audio, you actually hear me. I think I was, like, I said something. I, like, screamed something.
Xanxus really put pressure on me because he asked, when it was our second loss and we had the third map pick, he asked me, what map? It's your choice. I hate lane. I fucking hate lane. But I knew how much he liked it, so I figured, fuck it, we're going to go out. It's going to at least be on a map where he likes the most.
I mean, that match reminds me, that's a good answer for it, too. I mentioned it briefly in the cast, but the one that reminds me the most is the finals of the last tournament when me and PD went down 0-2 in hilarious fashion in the finals. Like, it was like laughably bad first 2 games. Like, complete clown fiesta the first 2 games. And then somehow we were able to claw our way back in and pull the reverse sweep. That's what that series reminded me of. Not the first game was still fairly close, but like City was just like a raffle stomp. Like, that was not pretty at all.
I think I killed myself that round with the dark hole.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know. Yeah, like Palace didn't look great, and then City, like, you guys got ran over by a truck, and Lane was like starting to look bad for a minute, and then you guys just like turned it on. Doom forgot who he was, and yeah, you guys pulled off a really nasty reverse sweep. It reminds me of that finals run.
Evo threw on his cape and came in to save Xanxus from Doom.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, that actually is what happened too. Because if you look at it, he was tearing me up with the key palm and backdraft, and I'm like,
You're the one who taught me how to dodge key palm. You were getting hit by it. I was like,
I didn't expect him to run a key palm on me.
I had no practice dodging it. I couldn't walk forward.
That was one of those like personal slaps in the face. Like, is this your move? Now it's my move.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never seen him run that move before, and I've been playing with Doom a lot recently. So I think he just brought that out for you, for real.
I think
so.
I think like Doom is a real big fan of like the key melee attacks. Like, you've always got to watch him. Like, it could be key palm, it could be hyper kick, but he loves playing Kai with backdraft, bullet, and melee attacks.
It is satisfying.
My biggest grasp victory from the jaws of defeat, I'm gonna give to I just got looking at him. I'm like, oh god, there was a lot. I'm gonna give it to Kanye and Ebony, believe it or not, against Esper and Shadow. I really feel like
that was impressive.
I really feel like that Dance of Death. Kanye died like twice, then walked off the map, and then died a third time. Like, Ebony just kept having to come back.
Ebony
was
hard carried that.
Yeah,
he did.
That was
their last round.
So
Kanye was a backpack of bricks on Refinery. I love
That
him,
is
but
all my fun questions. Murder,
before-
do you have any?
Yeah, not a quit. I just want
I
to,
have one after.
for all the teams that were eliminated, you guys, everyone on that list at the, who got eliminated, they were all good sports the entire time. Special shout out to Mofo and Sentinel because these guys the whole time were just cracking jokes. They were very good about playing their matches on time, as everyone was. But Mofo and Sentinel, as you know, they had that 0-4, no wins, but the whole time they were in good spirit. And I hope they come back and play another tournament. Wipes and Scabas, Orange, Stowe, Hex and Silent. No griping from any of them. None of them were complaining, and they all did a good job playing their matches on time. So I'm really looking forward to see, especially Wipes and Scabas. Looking forward to seeing them come back in another tournament.
Yeah, I want to see more of Skaboss. I think that team
Scott
needs-
Boss, definitely.
I think
Yeah.
that team needs to split up. Like I think they'll do better with different partners. But I
Yeah,
think,
that
I
is
think
true.
Skaboss, like if he gets partnered with another good player, could be very, very solid in future tournaments.
Scabos and like Darcia would be a good team.
Scabas was someone who was on my list of people I wanted to ask.
That's actually funny because Zex had him in mind as well. I think it was Sardonic and then the first Sky Boss, but he was picked by Bromeo as well.
I had I had War Machine was one of the first people I wanted to ask, and then one person who Psycho Raven and Scabas were my 3 people I wanted to ask. But War Machine responded first, and he's the one I wanted the most, so it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Bregan, what was your question? Your fun question?
I was going to ask, not team, but individual player, who is your MVP for Swiss rounds?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, not team. It
Uh,
could even be like, a team that went like 0-3 or something. Like, which individual player would you say brought them up? Because like it doesn't mean that they had success as a team, but which one was most important and most valuable to the team they were on?
My vote goes to Esper, because Shadow did not, just like we predicted, did not change his game plan, but Esper went way out of his realm and is trying a lot of new things, and it worked for him because they came out almost perfect victory, almost. So I'm gonna say Esper.
all right. Goatrix, who do you think?
I want to say Sardonic Jester, just because normally in the past, a lot of people, including myself, had a way higher opinion of Xanxus, and Sardonic is he's put in a good effort, and he shows that he's a valuable player and he wants to play. And I would say Sardonic Jester.
I'm gonna give mine to Poor Choices. I don't know if y'all. I think it was Kanye and Ebony, but it was on Refinery. They had him pinned down for a pickup with like 3 health. They both had ice swords, and Mario made the epic pickup. It was pretty nasty.
Mario or choices?
Yeah, Mario.
Choices. I mean choices.
Yeah, that Choices is definitely has been putting in some work this tournament. So, for someone who plays once a week, he's putting in work.
What about you, Xanxus?
I was impressed with Sky Boss. I always knew he was a good player. I just never played much with him. But seeing him in this tournament, and he's just really mechanically good with just with. I don't play with him much, but from what I've seen, he's able to dodge attacks fairly well. He blocks mostly everything on time. So I would say him. Definitely somebody that was under the radar. That's definitely I would say is up there.
Yeah. I guess I'm the only one that hasn't gone yet. Goodness. There's so many good options here. I'm going to have to go with... I think I'm kind of torn between 2. I am going to have to say Ebony. I think, and that's not to diminish Kanye. That's the first thing I want to say is I think Kanye fits Ebony's style really well. But when things go wrong, it seems like it always comes down to Ebony with the clutch pickup or the right shield or the right move. And Kanye does do a lot. He pulls his weight in a lot of those matches. But Ebony brings some individual amount of level that is absolutely necessary for that team to function.
Yeah, I could add to that as well. I think that's the one person if if you had a situation where it was a 2v1 and you needed to be picked up, he's probably your go-to person. Like, you'd want him to be the person to do the revive. You know he's going to have a bunch of shields. Exactly, all the shields.
I think he's the best pickup artist in the game, and one of the reasons is because he has 1 billion shields. So
yeah,
I would say there's a difference between pickup artist and having a ton of shields, but I think he was one of my go-tos for wanting to pick me up.
Being ready for the situation is good.
Yeah.
Y'all remember Doom and Kanye on the same team and how Kanye got bashed all the time for getting carried? I know how that feels.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're still getting carried, so.
Hey, I joined the tournament to be carried. So, Bregan, thank you for providing an excellent minivan with snacks and apple slices and orange juice.
Take him to victory.
That's right.
All right. Anything else? Me neither.
I think that's it.
All right. Yeah, I think that wraps us up for episode 97.35 of Club Baroness. Y'all have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.